The Steel Storm, the Blood Road to Moscow, June 23, 1941, dawn over a collapsing world. The sun rises, but it brings no hope. Its light falls upon a land that has just endured the first nightmare of Barbarossa. Black smoke still rises from frontline airfields flattened only hours earlier. Charred, twisted Soviet aircraft lie piled atop one another like the bones of a gigantic creature torn apart. This is no longer a battlefield. This is a graveyard. On the roads of Western Soviet territory, military trucks are abandoned. Artillery tractors with broken axles, tanks drained of fuel, steel helmets scattered in the dust. Ripped backpacks, personal belongings spilling out like unfinished lives. And amid this landscape are the soldiers of the Red Army. They walk, they wander. They are silent, without units, without commanders. Not knowing where the front line is, not knowing where the rear is. Not knowing whether they are still part of an army or already abandoned. The German assault does not slow, it accelerates, because in Blitzkrieg warfare, time itself is a weapon. Blitzkrieg, when time belongs to the attacker. Army Group Center, the main spearhead of Barbarossa, begins to reveal its true power. This is not an army, this is a machine. More than 1,700 panzer tanks, over 50 elite divisions, thousands of field artillery pieces, hundreds of aircraft providing constant support. Their objective is not to seize territory in the traditional sense. They do not hold cities, they do not hold towns, they do not hold crossroads. They leave behind small pockets of resistance. They push forward, deeply, relentlessly. Their sole objective, encircle, sever, destroy all Red Army forces trapped within the pocket. Blitzkrieg has reached its most perfect form. Tanks smash through the front lines. Motorized infantry follows closely behind. The German Air Force dominates the skies, scouting every smallest movement of the enemy. German communications move faster than artillery shells. Meanwhile, the Red Army reacts like a body with its head severed. Orders arrive late, or do not arrive at all, or arrive already obsolete. Belated orders from Moscow. In Moscow, Stalin finally issues the order to counterattack. But this is not a prepared counteroffensive. This is a panicked reaction. Division command, counterattack immediately. No updated maps. No battlefield reconnaissance. No coordination between infantry, armor, and air force. Many units charge forward without knowing where the Germans actually are. They counterattack into empty space. Or worse, they charge straight into panzer spearheads at the peak of their momentum. The result is not a counterattack. It is slaughter. Thousands of Soviet tanks, many still brand new, are abandoned along roadsides due to lack of fuel, ammunition, or command. Many crews are forced to destroy their own vehicles, not to fight, but to prevent them from falling into enemy hands. Young soldiers, many trained for only a few months, are thrown into a steel storm without understanding what they are facing. Minsk, the giant trap closes June 27, 1941. Two German armored pincers close in. A massive encirclement forms between Bialystok and Minsk. Inside the pocket, more than 300,000 Red Army soldiers. No resupply, no air support, no route of escape. Radio silence. Ammunition dwindles. Water becomes a luxury. They continue to fight. Many units resist until the last bullet. Small groups attempt to break out under cover of darkness, but Blitzkrieg leaves no gaps. German tanks tighten the ring kilometer by kilometer. The Luftwaffe circles endlessly overhead. By early July, the Battle of Minsk is over. More than 400,000 Soviet troops are dead, wounded, or captured, a staggering number. An entire front annihilated in less than 2 weeks. And before the German forces, the road to Moscow lies open. Hitler, a deadly confidence. In Berlin, Hitler is intoxicated by victory. Reports of success pour in like rain. German generals believe the Red Army has lost its ability to conduct strategic operations. Hitler declares to his closest aides, "The Soviet Union is finished. It is only a matter of time." He begins to intervene directly in military planning, issuing orders over the heads of commanders, ignoring warnings about logistics, disregarding the vast depth of Soviet territory, not thinking about winter. Victory comes too quickly. and convinces Hitler that history itself has chosen him, but history always punishes arrogance. Behind the front, a war without gunfire. Behind the panzer divisions, there is no peace. There is darkness. Einsatzgruppen units move into newly occupied territories. Lists have been prepared in advance. Party officials, intellectuals, teachers, journalists, Jews. They are dragged from their homes, taken to the edges of forests, shot en masse. No trials, no verdicts, no mercy. This is no longer a conventional war. This is a systematic war of annihilation, and it has only just begun. Stalin, collapse and rebirth. In the first days of July, Stalin nearly vanishes from public life. No speeches, no appearances, no public direction. Many within the Politburo believe Stalin has suffered a psychological collapse, that the shock is too great. But then, as Moscow itself begins to face danger, Stalin returns, not with panic, but with absolute coldness. An order is issued, not one step back without orders. The Red Army begins to change, not through victory, but through iron discipline and blood. Smolensk. The gate to Moscow is blocked. July 1941. Smolensk becomes the next critical battlefield. Here, Blitzkrieg slows for the first time. The Red Army fights back with increasing determination. German forces are drawn into prolonged engagements. Losses rise, logistics stretch thin. Supply lines extend hundreds of kilometers. Dirt roads turn into mud, tank breakdowns multiply. For the first time, Nazi Germany confronts a frightening truth. The Soviet Union is not France, not Poland, not a nation that collapses after a single blow. War transforms. Barbarossa is no longer a swift campaign. It becomes a war of attrition, a war of distance, of weather, of human will. Every kilometer eastward demands a price, and every passing day is a day Hitler can never reclaim. The first signs of a fatal mistake. By late July 1941, before Hitler stands not a collapsing Soviet Union, but an enemy learning how to fight, fast, painfully, relentlessly. Barbarossa continues forward, but its lightning speed is gone, and far away, the Russian winter waits in silence.